Hello and welcome aboard to this episode of the We Are Reading One Piece podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to following the entire story of One Piece from beginning to end as we focus on each volume. We keep the discussion spoiler-free for new fans of the series, so this is the perfect place to follow along, whether you're new to the series or just want to revisit the world of One Piece with us. This week, we will be covering the second part of Volume 58. The name of this era is Whitebeard, which covers chapters 569 through 573. My name is Joel, and I'll be your host. Joining me today, we have Evan.
What's up? Evan here.
And we have Sean.
This is Sean.
Yeah, so we are right in the thick of this war. It's been pretty crazy on both sides. You know, the Navy's showing why they're one of the most powerful forces in the world, as well as Whitebeard, who's really now showing like what he's made of. So it's pretty intense.
Pretty intense.
Yeah,
I think it's going to get more intense as we go.
I think everyone will calm down. I think everyone just be like, all right, everyone just chill out. Let's talk this out. Let's talk this over. Let's have a snack. Let's just...
Yeah, time for diplomacy. We can talk this out.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just get a little recap from where we left off. Whitebeard forgave Squire for believing the Navy's lies that led to him stabbing his captain. Whitebeard entered the fight, showing the power of one of the four emperors. The Navy activated the encirclement wall to trap the pirates in, but Orz's body left a pathway forward for them to enter the plaza. Akainu melted the ice the pirates were using as footing, but thankfully, the Whitebeard pirates brought another coated ship that surfaced from the water. Orz was still alive, so he stood up and pushed the ship over the wall to get the Whitebeard pirates into the plaza. Whitebeard and his crew were able to power through. Things took a turn when Whitebeard started coughing up blood. The Navy was able to strike the Whitebeard pirates in a moment of weakness. During the attack, Luffy was nearly defeated by Kizaru, but thanks to Ivankov's hormones, Luffy was able to get enough energy to get back into the fight.
He's juiced up.
Yeah. All right, so let's just dive right in to the next chapter. That'll be chapter 569, White Monster. Luffy rushes towards the platform. Kobe decides he needs to stand up to his friend, but Luffy knocks him out with a punch to the face. Next, the pacifists target Luffy. Before they can fire their beams, Hancock throws herself in the way, causing the pacifists to back down due to detecting an ally. Marco is stopped by a pair of sea prison cuffs being strapped to his wrist by Vice Admiral Onigumo. Jozu is next to fall as Kuzan freezes his entire body. Whitebeard is surrounded as several Navy soldiers stab and unleash point-blank shots on the pirate. Whitebeard swats the soldiers away, announcing that he cannot fall until he has ensured the future for his sons. Sengoku gives the orders once again for the execution of Ace to commence. Before the blades reach Ace, Luffy shouts, "Stop!" Several people fall to the ground, including the executioners. To everyone's shock, Luffy just used Haki of the Supreme King. All right, let's start with Sean on this one.
Well, Kobe put up a great fight. He sure gave it his all. Namely, all of his face directly into Luffy's knuckles. Like, God, this is... One Piece is like this action-adventure fun time series until suddenly it's like, hey, you know that trope? Fuck that trope. No, I'm sorry, Kobe. You trained a lot. You are way more powerful than when you used to be. You are nothing compared to what Luffy is. Like, it's just not happening, buddy. Like, I'm sorry. Like, all of that training was for nothing. It's just nothing at all.
Well, I think you got to hand it to him. He at least tried.
He did try. Yeah. He did try.
He knows shave. Unfortunately for him, Luffy has seen this one before. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know that one.
This is great character progression for Kobe, though, because Kobe used to be the little coward kid that would be like he'd be too afraid to like stand up to Alvida, and like he wouldn't speak his mind, he wouldn't stand his ground. So he's in a situation where I think he realizes he's probably outmatched, but he knows that he has to fight anyway. So he stands there and takes it to the face, but he at least did that. So I think that's commendable
I don't think he realized just how unmatched he was. Because he's really like, I have to fight like I want to kill him. And then it's just like, dude, you're not even going to get close to that. Like, I think he thought he'd get like 1 or 2 hits in and then he'd be knocked aside. But like,
yeah, I don't think he expects to win. Like, but yeah,
No,
you might have realized how far the gap was right now.
He doesn't really get it. Yeah.
But he does. I think he does respect Luffy, and he knows he's strong. Even like when Luffy first met him, he was strong.
Yeah,
but yeah, he's only gotten stronger since. So.
They don't even exchange words here. It's just like Kobe. They just collide.
Like Luffy yells out Kobe, and then is just immediately like punch time. Yeah, that's amazing.
So good.
But I also think that's Luffy respecting Kobe too.
Yeah,
in his own way, because
he's like, you want to do this? Okay, we'll do it, Kobe. Like,
yeah, exactly. He's respecting Kobe's decision to fight. So I think, because again, like the first time Luffy met him, he said like, "Oh, I hate people like you who are like cowards and like sniveling and stuff like that." So I think now he's like, "All right, now you're man enough to fight. All right, cool. Now I can just hit you in the face.
I'll meet you on your level." Yeah.
Albeit a brief reunion, it is cool though seeing this reunion after it's been a while, you know. And Kobe's day 1 OG, chapter 1 OG.
Yeah, well, chapter 2. Yeah,
chapter 2.
Then, I mean, a lot happens in the middle, but then we end with Luffy pulling off the same haki that Shanks pulls off, which is quite the step up.
Shanks and Whitebeard.
Yeah.
And Whitebeard.
Yeah, so we did see Luffy use this in Amazon Lily.
This time it's actually named.
Well, they did actually name it Amazon Lily as well, but Luffy doesn't.
I'm stupid then, I guess.
No. That was just like the first time they gave a name to a form of haki. So that was when it came up and was Amazon Lily, and the Amazon Lily residents knew what it was. Luffy didn't. He didn't realize he did anything special like he did over here. Again, he doesn't realize he's doing anything, but everybody else around him is reacting and recognizing what he's doing.
Yeah, I thought this was I totally forgot the Amazon Lily bit. I totally forgot it. So cool. Okay, this isn't nearly as exciting. But
no, but it is awesome because exciting.
Not nearly.
Go ahead, Evan.
Just the scale here, though. I mean, in Amazon Lily, the scale is a bit different here. Under the circumstances and with the weight of the situation, it's pretty cool seeing Luffy step up to the plate here, and kind of you can tell how big of a deal this is by everyone's reaction. You see like Sengoku's reaction, you see Whitebeard's reaction, Ace's reaction, everyone's reaction.
Yeah,
kind of just like puts into perspective like how impressive this feat really is.
Yeah, and like it's making people take him more seriously, because Whitebeard was kind of just tossing around, being like, you did your part, boy. Like, good job. Okay, like pat on the head. And like, people like the Navy just saw him as like an upstart, but more of like a nuisance. But now, I think they're perceiving him as a threat, and he got more respect from the Whitebeard pirates. So I think it
feels like he was dismissed, and now everyone's kind of paying attention again.
Yeah,
like, oh, we do have to pay attention to this guy.
Right. Speaking of pay attention to this guy, Hancock was also very much paying attention to Luffy when the pacifist targeted him, and she decided to step in the way and make it so they would try to target her instead. So she kind of took a gamble. I was hoping that they wouldn't shoot her. Like, luckily the pacifists are programmed to be like, we're not going to shoot the ally, but Hancock might not have been thinking that. I think she just kind of had like a moment where she's like, I need to protect Luffy with my life. And she just like bravely stepped in the way and saved him. So I thought that was
like a pacifist. The pacifist's weakness is a pacifist.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily call her a pacifist. Like,
yeah, I mean, she does go back on that pretty quickly.
She does immediately kick its head off.
Yeah, for a brief moment.
But yeah, she doesn't go in to attack the pacifistas. Like, she could go in and be like, I'm going to kick you away. But no, she just jumps in the way and uses her body as like a human shield.
And Luffy calls her Hancock again, and she's pretty happy about that.
Yeah. She's like keeping track.
Hancock again, though, she has been a very powerful ally. Keeps saving Luffy here.
Yeah. At the risk of herself again, because not only was she putting her life on the line here, but she's also putting her title of warlord at risk because she's not being like super subtle about it. Like, luckily, people aren't really picking up on it too much.
It's a pretty chaotic scenario right now, so yeah.
But she's pretty blatantly going to protect Luffy here and there. Yeah, and then Marco and Jozu kind of having a rough time as well.
Yeah, everyone's having a rough time. We get some really great panels of Whitebeard here, using some hockey of his own to throw off like an onslaught of Navy officers. But some pretty cool art, I feel like, in the middle here.
Yeah.
Particularly that big, like, 3/4 page of Whitebeard, like, shaking everyone off, saying, I am Whitebeard. Kind of turning the tide a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we actually see the aftermath too, because in the last chapter, Sakazuki had punched Whitebeard in the chest. And now we actually see him when he's standing there. We can see like all of like the shots being fired on him and like him being stabbed. He actually has a hole in his chest.
Straight up.
Yeah, straight up a hole in his chest. That's from Sakazuki punching him right in the chest. So that's pretty brutal. And he's still kicking over here.
Gnarly.
But he seems to have a lot of like weight on him, like because he knows what role he has in this world. So he's saying, I know exactly what it would mean if I were to die. So he needs to make sure he can protect the people that he cares about. And because he's such a force in the world, like essentially, like if he were to fall here, I think it creates like a power vacuum. So he needs, as a role of the emperor, he needs to make sure that he is able to do what he needs to do as the emperor to protect his reputation as like a warlord. I mean, not a warlord, an emperor, to make sure that there's that stability. But I think he means that he has to like save Ace to kind of. I think he intends for Ace to take his place. So I think that's also part of it here too. So he has a lot on his plate that he's fighting for. And there's a lot at stake. Yeah, and I also like this moment too, where Jinbei and the Whitebeard pirates are protecting Whitebeard from behind. So like all those attacks he took, like they were head on. So like they were attacking him from like the front, but like but then he has like the people trying to get his back, so he's not getting like fully surrounded there.
Ouch.
And we also kind of see Whitebeard falter in this moment, right as the executioners go to take Ace's life.
Yeah.
Like at that crucial moment, Whitebeard kind of falters, and that's when Luffy steps in to save the day and save Ace's head.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. Because like he has this moment where he realizes he can't stop them, and I think he just has this moment where he's like I failed. Like there's something we can do at this point. It's over. And then Luffy does kind of come in and like restore that hope.
Yeah.
All right, we good to move on?
Good to move.
All right, we're moving on to chapter 570, The Bridge of Life. Now realizing Luffy has the ability to use Haki of the Supreme King, the Navy determines it is even more imperative to stop Luffy, here and now, before he reaches his full potential. But Luffy is oblivious that he has this power. Whitebeard recognizes that Luffy is special, that he is likely their best hope of saving Ace, ordering his men to back up Straw Hat. Luffy's allies fight off his enemies to clear a path for him. Inazuma pops out of Ivankov's hair, as Ivankov requests for a favor. Inazuma cuts up a strip of the ground, creating a bridge for Luffy to run up to Ace. Before Luffy can reach the top, Garp jumps in front of him.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. I'd be saying
Another
oh boy
reunion.
less. I'd be saying oh boy less ominously if it was like Sengoku that jumped in front of him. This is so much worse. Like,
welcome to Family Feud. Today we have the Monkey family.
My parents hated me.
Yeah, so Garp seems to jump in at probably the worst times.
I mean, this is what he said. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not appropriate. This is when Garp probably should. If he's gonna live up to what he said, he has to jump in here, but doesn't make it any less rough.
Yeah, because he's been pretty passive like most of this time. But he's like, all right, time to take action.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm a vice admiral in the Navy. Crab guy.
Love Inazuma.
Inazuma of the Revolutionary Army.
Just chilling in Iva's hair, drinking wine the whole time.
Yeah, the wine glass in hand.
The wine glass in hand.
Sorry,
so
but
good.
I'll need your help.
Yeah, because Inazuma has been completely absent the entire time.
Yeah,
and it was like, yeah. Because I just assumed that Inazuma was just chilling on the ship resting, but nope. Yeah, so that was a great little moment.
Crocodile versus Mihawk. Woo!
Right.
Credit to Mr. One for trying there for a bit.
Yeah, but I mean, if Zoro could beat Mr. One, I think Mihawk has a pretty good chance.
Mihawk. Are you prepared to meet Whitebeard's expectations? I don't give a shit about Whitebeard. I'm here for something else.
Yeah, that's like one thing about Luffy. He's like very irreverent. Like titles and like reputations don't really matter to him. I was like back in Drum Kingdom when Wapple like was like, "Oh, I'm the king. You can't defy me." And Luffy's like, "I don't care if you're a king. I'm gonna punch you in the face anyway."
Yep. Yeah, Luffy lives by his own rules.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interesting mentions in the first half of this chapter, bringing it back to the Supreme King Haki and talking about in comparison with Shanks and Whitebeard. And then we see Whitebeard referencing the Will of D comes back.
Yeah.
Seems like some pretty important themes coming back to the surface when Luffy steps up in a big way.
Yeah.
And being like respected by all of these world powers, essentially, like Whitebeard and the Navy and the admirals. And also, I think you get a little bit of the scale of the Haki on the very first panel of this chapter. It's like a bird's eye view, like pulled out, and you kind of have the masses reacting to the Haki. Like people were affected, like as collateral damage when he used this Haki to stop the executioners. So you kind of get like a scale of the actual power.
Because like even some of the pirates are like passed out, and some people are like, "Oh man, I almost passed out myself."
You even get a blank stare from Mihawk.
Yeah. He's like, interesting.
Oh, also, I wasn't sure how to interpret Ace saying "you too, Luffy."
I think he means like because Whitebeard can also do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's like, oh, Luffy, you also have that ability, like Pops.
I think Ace is suddenly realizing, oh my God, Luffy's stronger than I've ever been. This is my little brother is stronger than me. Oh, okay,
Gotcha.
Part of him.
Not that Ace also has Haki, and he's like, oh, you as well.
Well,
because right before that we get Garp saying, "So you really were born with it." So Garp's also having this realization that he has this incredible Haki power.
Does Ace have Supreme King Haki? I don't know if he does, but Maybe.
Not that I'm aware of.
I
but
don't think so.
I'm not sure if it'd be like revealed like later. But at this point, it hasn't been confirmed.
Yeah.
So yeah, my read is he's saying you two, like as in like you and Whitebeard.
Right.
Yeah, so it's not something that everybody can do, so it's a pretty rare ability. Yeah, and that's the moment where Whitebeard kind of shifts gears, and he's like, "All right, we're gonna put everything we have into helping Luffy."
Mm-hmm.
He is now Plan A.
Pretty wild command from Whitebeard himself.
Yeah, I love these shots of like Whitebeard and like just how imposing he looks in like all these panels, because he's like a really tall looking dude. But like he's very imposing looking. So there's that panel where he's kind of in shadows, like with his face, but you can see him like being surrounded by the Navy soldiers, and he's just kind of standing there. But he looks like he's like the scariest thing there.
Yeah, very imposing, and he's got like swords and stuff and gashes and pretty wild.
Yeah, it's like all that stuff is still not enough to take him down.
It's getting spicy. Yeah, Inazuma coming in clutch. One contribution. Pretty solid.
I think it's a really fun double fruit. Like we saw how it was used in Impel Down. I think it's fun to see it being used in this case too.
Mm-hmm. We also kind of see Whitebeard holding off Kizaru here. Because Kizaru definitely seems to have like the perfect ability for this fight, because he can kind of be anywhere in an instant.
Yeah.
And he's very powerful. So like Whitebeard's kind of slowing him down to give Luffy a chance.
Yeah, I feel like Kizaru's just kind of like getting like cheap shots in like here and there, and it's like pretty devastating.
Yeah. Just when Luffy's in the final stretch, Garp makes his appearance. It's quite the meeting.
And before we move on from this one, I also wanted to point out the SPS at the beginning, because this one I think is helpful, because Oda does give names for a lot of the Whitebeard pirates here, so it makes it easier to maybe reference some of these characters, but a lot of them aren't really named in the chapters themselves. Some will be like here and there, but it is helpful to have this little like reference for the different characters. So if I use any like some of these names, like you can kind of come back here as like a reference.
Yeah, it's convenient. All 16 divisions.
Yep, they're we have the division leaders here.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Squard is not one of them.
No, I don't think he's like officially like part of the Whitebeard pirates. I think he's just one of the captains under like the banner.
Mm.
Yeah, like he's a captain of his own ship. All right. Yeah, you guys good to move on this one?
Here we go.
Okay. Next chapter 571, the execution platform. Garp tells Luffy he'll have to get through him in order to save Ace. Luffy is reluctant to fight his grandpa, though he is left with little choice. As Garp goes to punch Luffy, he hesitates. Luffy does not, landing his punch and knocking the Vice Admiral to the ground. As Luffy reaches the platform, Sengoku reveals his Devil Fruit powers, transforming into a giant Buddha. Luffy tries to quickly free Ace using the key that Hancock gave him. Fortunately, Kizaru sends a beam, breaking the key in half. One of the executioners wakes up, who is actually Mr. 3, who wanted to repay Mr. 2 for his sacrifice. Luffy repels Sengoku's attack with a Gum Gum giant balloon. As the platform falls apart, Mr. 3 is able to recreate a key to unlock Ace's shackles. From the wreckage, Ace appears with Luffy, now able to use his powers.
What a chapter.
That's pretty
exciting. Sengoku finally did something!
Yeah, and they finally freed Ace.
Yeah. This chapter was so intense. Like, this is our first time seeing Garp and Luffy really go head to head. I got a sneak preview in the Netflix special, but
yeah,
in the manga, this is like the first time they've really gone head to head. And I did something that I'm embarrassed to admit, but I got to the beginning of this chapter and it was so intense, and I was like, couldn't wait to see what happened, that I actually like flipped forward a few pages to the punch instead of like, I literally skipped like 2 pages ahead because I couldn't take the suspense. Like I was literally on the edge of my seat. Like I was like, oh my God,
wow,
I can't take this. So I literally like skipped ahead 2 pages, saw the punch, and then went back and read through it.
I've been there.
Yeah. But that panel of Garp's fist, and like you see Luffy doing his bullet, such a dynamic scene, and then to see Garp kind of lose heart here, and or gain, I guess, have a heart, and not want to see Ace die, and kind of allowing Luffy's shot to land here.
This is as close as you're going to get.
I feel like this was
to...
so well depicted. Like the sequence, the pacing here and the sequencing here was amazing. And you really see Garp kind of have a change of heart here, like mid swing, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, because I mean he's very conflicted, and yeah, like you're saying, he's wavering in his conviction. Like he's been kind of expressing like, you know, I'm a vice admiral, you're the enemy, you brought this on yourself. So he's been having these moments where he's been trying to fulfill his obligation and put duty first instead of family.
Mm-hmm.
And he keeps the appearance that he's really doing his duty. But then we see like the internal conflict that he has, because we can see some of these panels where he's thinking of them as kids, and we see like close-ups on his face. And we see the moments like he was thinking back how Ace said that after everything I've done, I still want to die. And Garp closes his eyes, and then that's when Luffy punches him. So, yeah, I think there's a moment that we can see here that Garp does have that doubt that he's not doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Sengoku kind of clocks him on it too.
Yep.
So you're a father before you're the Navy man, after all.
Yeah.
Yep. Right, because I feel like Garp's been completely passive this entire time, hasn't taken action at all. And I feel like when it became time to take action, he couldn't follow through with it, because he would actively be assisting Ace's death here, and probably sealing the deal. Like if he, like Whitebeard literally just put all of his cards into Luffy. If Luffy goes down here, that's probably the end for Ace. And so Garp would be actively helping this happen. I don't think he could do it.
Yeah, at the same time, though, I think this also gives him plausible deniability, where he gives the appearance that he did go in to do what he was supposed to do. Whereas if he was passive and he didn't like do anything either way, that could also be seen as being a traitor to the Navy. Because we saw how Sakazuki treated people who were trying not to fight, and he killed them.
Right.
So they don't really take too kindly to those people. But Garp is high ranking, so he might have a little bit more leeway in that way. But he could also be penalized for not meeting his responsibilities of that rank. So he could also be putting his rank in jeopardy. So yeah, it's a tough line to follow, and I think it's also kind of cruel to expect him to be in this situation and to be faithful to the Navy in this regard.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the position he's in. So I do think he kind of handles it like the best he can, while trying to, without committing like one way or the other. He's kind of like not fully in like on one side, like the way he's trying to make it seem. I think he's trying to kind of meet in the middle somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what about Sengoku?
Big Buddha Sengoku
does have abilities. He does have abilities.
He does.
big abilities.
Yeah, and you did kind of call that when he was rolling up his sleeves, like, oh, we're gonna see his Delphi abilities now.
Yeah. Didn't disappoint.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grows into like a giant here. It looks like a reference. Is the head a reference to something? Like I feel like it's like a Buddha reference, or Is it?
I don't know if it's completely clear, but I think he's trying to convey like a Buddha statue.
Yeah.
So I think he's trying to give that kind of impression, but I'm not sure exactly 100% like what is trying to be conveyed in that sense, but I believe that would be it. Because we don't have like confirmation of what the devil fruit actually is at this point.
Kizaru sniping that key was pretty impressive.
Yep. So yeah, that's been kind of like his role, like the sniper.
He probably could have just killed Ace if he wanted to. Or Luffy for that matter.
Well, that's not his job.
Right. Right.
Well, killing Luffy, yeah, that could be the case, but yeah. It's almost like a slap in the face to be like, I could kill you, but I'm just gonna take out the key instead because I don't
Right.
I don't respect you enough.
Or
unless he was aiming for Luffy's hand and accidentally hit the key.
Yeah, this is a pretty wild finale to the chapter. Luffy softening the blow and then them kind of like emerging from the flames here. I love that last page of this chapter with Ace kind of coming out through the flame with Luffy and Mr. 3 in tow.
Yeah.
Such a great panel. Finally free. Wow. Wow.
He's free. After all that build up, he's
all that.
Yeah, and I like how we get that call back to Mr. 3's ability, because we had seen him do it back in Alabasta, where they wanted him to create the key for the prison cell.
Yep.
So yeah, we have that being established as a thing before, but I think it's a little convenient that he happened to be pretending to be one of the guards there on the platform.
Yeah.
Like, what happened to the actual person, and when did he get up there and nobody noticed? Like, I don't know.
Mr. 3, the real mastermind behind it all.
It almost like could have fallen apart because he got knocked out by the Supreme King Hockey.
Right.
So if he didn't wake up in time, like it'd be like, oh, like he wasn't like here to make the key for them. Like, so that could have gone wrong. Yeah, we just kind of like the little exciting moment where it's like the platform kind of exploded and it's like, oh no, like Ace couldn't get out of that because his powers were offline, but he got free in time, so they're all good. Yeah. Anything else on this one?
That's it.
Good.
Okay. Moving on to chapter 572. The times they are A-Changin. The pirates cheer as Ace thanks Luffy for saving him. To pay him back, Ace helps fight off their attackers. Squire has taken command of the grounded ship. Using the paddles, they're able to move it even while on land. Whitebeard himself stops the ship by force. Whitebeard gives his final orders, not wanting any further harm to his sons. He tells them it is time to part ways, commanding his followers to survive and return to the New World. It's time to end this war.
Another great chapter. I really love seeing Luffy and Ace here kind of fighting side by side.
Yeah.
In sync. Really haven't gotten much of that yet.
No. I think last time would have been like Alabasta. I feel it was mostly Ace doing all the work.
Right.
But now it's kind of more like they're partners here. Yeah, and Ace also recognizing like his brother's come a long way. He's like, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact my little brother had to save me, and now he's seen everything. You know?
Yeah. A moment we did not get with Kobe earlier in this.
And we get the cool panel where both Ace and Luffy are being shot, but like the bullets aren't affecting either one of them because they're powers, but they work in different ways. So we can see like all the bullet holes like in Ace, and like Luffy's, you can see like how his skin stretches.
So cool.
He just bounced it back like his classic move.
Bunch of great panels of Ace and Luffy here.
Whitebeard really going for it at the end here.
Yep.
This is his last stand. Just everybody get out of here. I'll take it from here.
Yeah. Yeah, and he even stops the ship with one arm.
Yep.
This guy guy's a beast. Yeah, it feels kind of like the sacrificial captain going down with the ship in a sense.
Yeah.
Buying time to let everyone else escape, which is insane. Like, he really is a one-man army. He's like about to single-handedly destroy all of Marineford here.
Yeah, because you kind of have to hold back a little bit because of Ace. Now that Ace is free, you don't have to worry about hurting Ace on the platform. So now he can go all out. Yeah, and from his speech, we get the sense that Whitebeard realizes that his time has passed. He's been doing this for a while. So he's from the era of Roger. So he's kind of part of like the old guard of pirates. And he recognizes that now it's time to pass the torch to a new generation. It's their time to shape the world. And he recognizes like Luffy as being one of those people, like Ace is one of those people, like we kind of talked about the Will of D being something in a sense that like could be shaping the future. So it's these types of people that he's entrusting in the future. And I think he feels like he's leaving it in good hands based on what he's been seeing. So I think he can go like into this being like, I am like, my time has passed, but it's time for this generation to really show the world what they're made of.
Passing of the torch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel like they've set this up really well, because I feel like even just within this battle, there's been a lot of mentions of like Luffy getting recognition as both being, I mean, obviously like his bloodline was revealed, but I feel like people were kind of noticing how he has this way about him, and how he was able to get people, how he was able to lead people and get people to follow him.
Yeah.
And this whole battle has only kind of justified all those observations. And we know the similarities between Luffy and Ace. So it's cool seeing like this passing of the torch in a sense.
Yeah.
And kind of Whitebeard's acknowledgement and like acceptance of that. And he's kind of acknowledging both seemingly Luffy and obviously Ace as like almost the heir to his kingdom kind of.
Yeah, and Whitebeard made his intentions very clear at the beginning. When he said, Ace, I'm here to save you because I wanted to make you the king of the pirates, not me. Like, Ace wanted to make Whitebeard the king of the pirates. Whitebeard recognized that that's not going to happen. His time has passed. He's had his chance, and it's now time to give somebody else a chance. So he's here because he feels Ace is that person. So Whitebeard says himself here, I'm a relic of a bygone era. No ship can carry me into the new age. So he's recognizing that. But he's doing what he can to help guide them into that era. Yeah, and he also wants to make sure that his family, his sons can make it out and live another day, and they can keep doing their thing. Like, he doesn't want to lose everybody at this time over him. Now that Ace has been saved, his objective has been accomplished. So now the only purpose is to just get Ace and his other sons out of here, so that way they can safely move on and keep the pirate era going.
Whitebeard's a pretty amazing guy.
Pretty cool guy. I can see why a couple people want to follow him. Yeah,
pretty cool.
A couple fans. Yeah. I mean, this is a man who went around and is like, my name is Whitebeard with just a big mustache. And people were like, sure. Like, he's got to be pretty cool.
The audacity.
I have seen that joke 1,000 times. That is not an original joke. I've seen several people make that joke. Just to say that right there.
So good.
You think he ever did have a beard? We've seen him younger, and he never does. I don't think so. It's just all right.
Maybe he was born with a beard and he shaved it.
Yeah, I guess.
You don't want to cover up that chin, though. It's such a good chin.
Yeah,
that's true. That's kind of a flex there. Yeah, so that's all I got on this one. You guys have anything else?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay, then let's wrap up the volume with chapter 573. The name of this era is Whitebeard. Rainford begins to crumble from Whitebeard's quakes, reminding his men to follow his orders. The transmission feed is restored on Buggy's transponder snail, to the audience's disappointment as they wonder what they missed. Before Ace leaves Whitebeard, he bows on his hands and knees in gratitude. He reassures Whitebeard that he was happy to have him as a father. The pirates commandeered a warship, but Sakazuki is not about to let them get away. Sakazuki taunts Ace, calling Whitebeard a loser. Ace gets heated, beating Sakazuki's magma punch with his fire fist. The magma burns hotter than Ace's fire, burning his hand. Luffy's fatigue catches up to him, and he can no longer move as he notices he dropped Ace's Weaver card. Sakazuki tells Ace that the brothers won't get past him. Sakazuki goes after Luffy to Ace's surprise. Ace shields Luffy from the punch as Sakazuki's molten fist goes through his stomach. Luffy can only look on horror as Ace's Weaver card begins to disintegrate.
I want Evan to start with this.
Yeah,
you
you
gotta
gotta
be kidding me. Yeah, this is a heart sink moment. This can't be the end of Ace. This can't be the end of Ace. This can't be the end of Ace. I'm hoping his fire abilities allow him to somehow take that punch because it seems very fatal from first glance. And we see the Weaver card burning up. Yeah. After all that, it's like all the emotions culminate to this moment. Yeah. I don't even know what to think.
Well, we did see like the bullet holes on Ace earlier. So we know that like the attacks will pass through because he's a Logia type. Also, classic through and through. So we know that that doesn't mean it's fatal. It means he's probably fine. So
I hope so.
Because also Whitebeard has a hole in his chest. So
yeah,
that seems to be just true. Like that's just like one of the things that happens.
We've got we've got Ina on the field. Like maybe some Hornomes could help here, or maybe something else could. I mean, there's possibilities. Like, doesn't look good though.
Doesn't look good. Does not look good.
Yeah, I mean the fact he is coughing up blood, which is a little different from normal.
And the Weaver card's burning up. Wow. Yeah, I was pretty beside myself when I got to this page. I was not expecting that. I mean, Ace's sacrifice is pretty beautiful in this moment. And Luffy would have done the same thing for him as we've just seen. Yeah. So a pretty impressive act of sacrifice here. Hopefully he can pull through, because I would lose my shit if Ace died after this, after all of that, after everything we just went through. But I mean, goes to show Ace's love for Luffy here, literally throwing his body in the way.
Yeah. And his love for Whitebeard too, because it's like it's almost like Marty McFly in Back to the Future. It's like Marty's about to like walk away, and he's like, "What are you, chicken?" And that's when he's like whenever you call Marty chicken, that's when he's like he's not backing down, and it's like he can't just walk away.
Yeah,
he takes the bait. So yeah, that kind of happens here, where Sakazuki's like taunting him and it's like bad mouthing Whitebeard, and it's like a little bit more than Ace is like willing to just let slide instead of just walking away. He's like, I have to defend like Whitebeard's reputation here.
Like multiple people are telling him, like, dude, let him talk shit. Who gives a shit? Let's get the fuck out of here. Yep. And he's just like, no, I got him. No.
Yeah, but did you hear what he said?
Yeah, but what he said something bad. Like, what a shocker. Like,
it's kind of that same stubbornness that got us here, right? With like Ace going off to avenge Whitebeard's pride, and here we are again. Ace getting, trying to protect Whitebeard's pride and getting in trouble again.
Yeah, that's a good connection. Yeah, because Whitebeard told him like, just let it go. Like, it's not worth it.
Right.
So yeah, we are seeing like a bit of like stubbornness from Ace in that way, because he is that loyal. So yeah, it's something that seems to be like kind of coming back to bite him. A few times here. So Yeah, it's kind of just like unfortunate timing too that Luffy is now like, I think he's just completely out of steam because like, yeah, he's been like running on empty for like
Yeah.
the whole like entire day, and he's just been like really pushing his body past the limits with the amount of times he's had to get like the hormones injected into him. Yeah, he's just at the point where it's like he just can't move, so it's just bad timing.
Mm-hmm. Oh man. Yeah, I'm dying to read the next chapter. I need some closure on this. This is like a major cliffhanger to end the volume on. Like, wow.
The last chunk of this volume, we got to have the full crew on, I'd say. So,
or for the arc.
yes.
Yeah.
We'll have everybody for the next one, so we can do like the rankings and everything, and we can get the wrap up for the arc.
Yep.
Ugh. So intense.
Indeed. I agree, Evan.
Aki Ino is really becoming a villain too. Like,
yeah, seems
just like
kind of
one
like
of
a
those
jerk.
people. He just has like zero redeeming qualities.
Yeah.
It's pretty awful character.
Yeah, I do feel like the other two admirals have like qualities that are a little bit more likable.
Yeah,
like they're a little goofy in a way, and
it seems like Ice Guy. I've forgotten his name for some reason.
Aokiji.
Aokiji. Yeah. He's got like kind of a sense of honor to a degree of some kind of like, oh, I won't fuck around, or maybe I'll just leave you go for now or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kizaru is just such a troll that you kind of have to respect it. He's just like, he's such a little shit about it all.
Yeah.
And then Sakazuki's just like, I'm an asshole. I like being an asshole. I like being a jerk. I like killing people. It's great.
Yeah, he has zero tolerance.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, in comparison, we have seen in the past Aokiji on multiple occasions, like, when he first met Robin as a kid, he let her go. When he met Robin again in Water 7, he let her go. When he met them on the Long Line, he almost let them go. And then he didn't finish them off. Like he stopped with Luffy and he kept to his word. He didn't go after the rest of the crew. He could have just stopped them all right there. So yeah, we've been seeing like, as an admiral, his approach is to give him like a little bit of leeway in that way. But Sakazuki is the complete opposite, where if there's a chance that this is going to, let them get away, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, like he's not afraid to kill people in the name of justice, and he feels he's being righteous in that way. So yeah, he's a very unlikable character, possibly one of the most unlikable characters in the entire series.
Yep, I'm getting that feeling.
I have a lot to say, but most of it concerns the last half of this chunk of this volume. So,
right, probably gonna read the next chapter as soon as this podcast ends because I'm like, I'm in a state of unknowing.
So not to like pull back the curtain, but when did you actually read this chapter?
Earlier today.
Okay, so you did read it today. Okay, so at least you weren't like, it wasn't like a week where you were sitting on this. I'm glad that like you weren't like stewing for a whole week.
Well, I might have had a better response than I did today, but like I guess I haven't fully processed it all.
Okay.
And I also don't know the outcome. I don't know the outcome either. So
yeah.
Just high suspense.
But on a different note, the transmission feed is restored to the transponder sale. So,
yay! Just in time.
So the world is now able to witness what is going on. Like they miss like the middle parts, and they're like now going to be like trying to play catch up. And like I think it's hilarious that they're like, oh, it's that buggy guy again.
Why is he guy again?
Show us the good stuff.
Yeah. Hope Buggy comes out on top here. And Buggy does say he's going to take Whitebeard's head on camera, or that's his goal. He states his goal.
Yeah. But I mean, the state that Whitebeard's in, there's a few people that do want his head.
It's not too far fetched at this point.
So a lot of the people that claim that they want to take Whitebeard's head might have been waiting for the right time and maybe letting everybody else kind of wear him out a little bit. So now he's kind of like in a rough shape. So they might see this as an opportunity where he's weakened, and they might try to take advantage of that. But we've also seen that even though he's in this state, he's still a monster. So
absolutely
might be easier said than done. So I don't know. We'll see. And we do have this nice little moment too between Ace and Whitebeard. So Whitebeard is trying to tell Ace to get going. Yes, I think Luffy says to Ace, "We have to go. We don't want to waste the old man's sacrifice." Ace is like, "No, I get it, but hold on, let me just do this." So he goes and bows down to Whitebeard. And Whitebeard just asks for a little like reassurance to make sure that he was happy and that like he was like, "Did I do a good job?" kind of deal. And Ace kind of cries and says, "Of course." So like at this point, Whitebeard just wants to make sure that like, yeah, he did something good for his kid. So I think it's a sweet little moment there.
Aw.
Yeah, very tender moment.
But yeah, that's where we left this one. Yeah, do you guys have any closing thoughts before we wrap up the episode?
Can't take the suspense.
Quite the chapter, quite the volume, quite the arc. It's again, I'll have plenty to say next time, but I'm very excited.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think excited. Yeah. I do think that this volume and this part of the volume specifically, I think did a great job of kind of building up the suspense and the excitement. And we've had such a long journey to get to this point. And when it seemed like things were getting hopeless, then something does change where there's a little bit more hope. So we had like this kind of like this up and down where Luffy kind of like was out of steam, but then he had like another like third wind, and he was able to kind of like turn the tides back in their favor, and they were able to just get over the finish line and get Ace free. So there was a lot of build up just to get Ace free. So now we're in the state where we don't know what's going to happen. So I think that's also very exciting because where we leave this chapter, I think it's up in the air. And I'm very excited for Evan, for you to experience the next part and the rest of this arc, because this arc as a whole, I think, has been super exciting, really epic, and I want to see how you react to the finish line for the entire arc.
Yeah, it just feels like there's so much at stake at this point. Like Whitebeard being like the pinnacle of power within the pirate world, and clearly making like Ace is pretty clearly going to be his successor. But also like the amount of authority he gives Luffy in this battle, and like Luffy and Ace fighting side by side, it almost kind of puts Luffy in like this very powerful position as well. Which is pretty interesting. And now Ace, who knows what, like I don't know, man. We're just gonna have to see.
We'll have to see. But that'll be for next episode. Because for now, that will conclude this week's episode of the We Are Reading One Piece podcast. You can find this episode wherever podcasts are found at We Are Reading One Piece podcast.buzzsprout.com or on our YouTube channel at We Are Reading One Piece. This is a spoiler-free channel up to where we record the podcast, so if you're new to the series, you can visit the channel there. You can also find me and this podcast on my YouTube channel at Pirate King Codex for more One Piece content. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, you can reach us at wearereadingonepiece@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from listeners, so if you're enjoying the show, or if you have any suggestions on how we can make it better, let us know. Next episode, we'll be starting Volume 59, Porcus the Ace. I've been Joel, and I've been joined by Evan.
Thanks for listening.
And Sean.
This is Sean. It's time for us to part ways. You all must survive and return to the new world.
On that note, be sure to bring along all of your hopes and dreams, and we'll see you on the next episode.